I wonder how many people are listening to this conversation are closely connected or married to the struggle, and you don't want to let it go. But you don't have to struggle to become successful. I thought that you had to struggle. The only reason I struggled so much is because I believe I had to struggle. My initial mindset was grind. Oh, I'm so sleepy, but I got to keep grinding. Then I got some other information. I'm spending hours doing nothing. Mm-hmm. I'm spending hours doing some stuff that isn't going to move the needle. And in my mind, this mentor is gonna say, yo, you are getting it. He said, and I'm telling you, I'm like for like 3 minutes straight talking about all the stuff that I accomplished today, why I'm so tired. And he said, how much money did you make? And I said, I gotta lay the foundation. You know what I mean? I didn't really make no, he said, well, why didn't you do any? He said, out of all the stuff that you told me, none of it is money making activity. Mm-hmm. I was impressing myself with being busy. I was so in love with the struggle and the grind, I lost sight of the major objective, which is to become successful. How do I become successful? How do I make some money? How do I quit this job? Yo, look, man, real quick before we get into the episode, Celebrity 409, Celebrity, we gotta put his joint here. Hey, he sent us Jordans a month before they came out. So I'm getting my shoes from Celebrity 409.
I get my shoes from Celebrity 409. These little fresh J's on my feet right now. Thank you, Celebrity 409. And that's SOLEBRITY 409. He is the official Social Proof Podcast sneaker plug. So
yeah, for sure.
If you want some shoes early, you want the exclusives, and you want them before anybody gets them, all we can say is he sent ours.
He sent ours.
He sent ours.
Let's get it.
Let's go. Welcome to another edition of the Social Proof Podcast, where we are
recording. Hold on, because then I sound insensitive to.
We ain't doing that.
I'm not insensitive. I'm just saying now I'm trying to clean it up. Now I'm just saying we don't have to.
Reese has absolutely been recording. Look at him. Yeah, so David and I are over here talking big business.
Yes.
Oh, that's a trigger word. Don't say that. We're over here talking We're over here talking gigantic business.
See, I told you they support.
Told y'all, look, they said it. Anyway, we're over here talking business, guys. As you know, we recently purchased the building some months ago.
Yes.
And we have the...
Hold on, Kashif, don't put that first part in there because it sounds crazy. Just start at where we start talking about welcome to another edition of the podcast. Because that, in context, it sounds crazy. Okay, good. All right, bet. Because, yes, we're going, yes, we're doing.
What is it that you want him to cut out, though?
All right, so. Donni.
Use your words.
Yeah. I don't want to do it.
So we are going over and reviewing the floor plan for our new space.
Yes.
And it's very important, y'all. So much goes into this. Like, you can't really see it, but you see it. Like, this is a whole blueprint for what we're going to do with 15,000 square feet, right? Mm-hmm. And we have all these really big ideas, but we have to make sure that we are considering, like, enough space down hallways so that packages and deliveries can come through. We have to make sure that we have space, so that we can put a stage in the event center. And we also have to make sure that the rooms are accessible, handicap accessible, so that wheelchairs can get in, but not just get through the door, but can they turn themselves around and sit just as comfortably as anyone else. So that's what we're figuring out. We're looking at the layout of this and making sure that we have crossed all T's and dotted all I's.
Yes. Oh, I had a really interesting conversation today with Terica.
Okay.
And building out this other building down the street is like from scratch. And new construction. Mm-hmm. So she's saying that she was like, how much did you pay for the sheetrock in the building of here? And I said, about $40,000. No, she gave me the price of what they're trying to charge to do the build out sheetrock of the other building down the street in Dorville. And she's like, yo, you know how much they trying to charge? She said like 400 something thousand. And I'm like, is that good or no? And she said, well, how much did you pay for the sheetrock here? And I said, about $40,000, actually $42,000. She said, oh, bad example. I said, what do you mean? She said, you overpaid. She said the rule of thumb is for labor, they should charge $1.50 to $2 per square foot to build out the building. So this is $3,750. Let's round it up $4,000.
So less than 10.
It should have been $7,500. You know what I mean? Just the labor. But I'm saying, okay, that's just labor. What about actual materials? She said, well, sheetrock is, add another $3. So we're at $5 per square foot. So I should have paid about $18,000 on the higher end. I said, well, that's a really good thing to know because you and I have a call with the architect in the build out tomorrow. Now it's a little different because they need to do like soundproofing. So it might be special material, a little more material.
Yeah. But we have a roundabout, a place to start. Yeah.
But even they told us it was, what did he say? 100 and something?
100 and something thousand. Yeah. It was close to $150,000. Which
is $10 a square foot. Which I guess ain't bad.
That's not bad. If they're considering special materials, that's about spot on.
Okay.
But these hundreds of thousands of dollars kind of add up.
What?
Yeah, they add up. So, they add up. So just so you know, when the building is done, the revenue that is generated from the building is going back to paying for building the building.
Oh, for sure. So we paid, how much was, first off, we get a quote for like 20 something for the demo.
We got a quote for 40 something.
40 something thousand.
For people to just, first of all, the building was already empty, okay? Right. But there were some bookshelves that were left behind by the previous bookstores.
They knocked down the walls.
And they had to knock down some walls. There were some walls, but there were 8 walls? Yeah. Like, they had to knock down some walls. Anyway, so to come in here, and you know how you see on HGTV where they take their sledgehammers and they knocking down walls and cabinets. Somebody quoted us $40,000.
And then we're like, well, and we don't know that that's a lot. We're like, oh, well, must be what it is. Then we got another quote for like 20 something, 30 something.
We got a quote for $20,000.
The last person that came in, some of my Mexicano friends, they came in $6,000.
$6,000.
And we had to get the
but it was more because of the rollaway bins, right? Yes. So at the end of the day, it ended up being closer to 20.
No, it did not.
Yeah, it did.
No, we had 10 cans and they were all,
it was 10 total
a piece. Yeah.
Oh, because I remember I was counting something. Remember I was doing the math wrong on it, and I'm like, yo, right. This is adding up.
Oh, for sure. So we wound up getting 11,000. But what that said to us in that space is people just charging whatever they want to charge.
They're charging whatever they want.
And nobody's wrong.
Listen, that young lady who provided the $40,000 quote made her quote sound so complicated. With the process, and and they offer these inclusions like you won't have to worry about rolling away trash. We're going to take care of the rollaways. And so now I'm thinking, well, how much are your rollaways? And where are you getting your rollaways from? Can't be from the same dump place we're getting our rollaways from.
The same place.
It's the same place.
And it's not even something that you handle. You just, they drop the can, like you fill them up and you call the company and say, hey, that one's full. We need a replacement.
We need another one.
And they say, it'll be there tomorrow.
It'll be
and
there.
Then you hang up the phone. And that's it was $5.50 actually, $5.50 a can. But people just charging what they want to charge. But the cool thing is, and this is why I do like entrepreneurship, nobody's wrong.
Nobody's wrong, but you got fed up with those rollaways. Listen, so the person who's project managing for us,
Shouts out to Ramon.
He would call and say, hey, the guys are ready for a new rollaway. Mm-hmm. And Dave would be like, okay, how many? And he like, oh, just 1 or 2. But on this last day,
the 550s suck.
Dave said, yo, how many rollaways are we going to need? Because these 550s are adding up. So Ramon is like, hey, the team is going to need, they should be finished today. Mm-hmm. They're going to need their last drop of rollaways. And Dave is like, well, how many? And he's like, maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe 3. Dave's like, let's start with 1.
Yeah, but he was like, you need 1. He said, but 2 would be excellent.
2 would be excellent.
We're not looking for excellence.
We're not looking for excellence. We're talking about trash, Ramon. We're talking about trash. And however we got to fit it in that one rollaway, Let's make that happen.
Man, go ahead.
We also have to talk about during this process. So we bought a building that had been vandalized. When the previous owners moved out, the building was sitting empty. It's in the middle of like a zone, a low income zone. There's a lot of homeless people, a lot of prostitution and things that go on in that area. And I can't say prostitution without saying pimping, because both of y'all wrong.
Yeah, and real quick side note, when you think of prostitution, I think of the movies. The joint in the little dress pulls over.
With the little fur coat.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And the high heels.
Hair done, makeup flawless.
She pulls over looking for a good time. That's not this. Because these...
It's a whole lot of dirty sex happening around
dirty
here.
I'll be looking at, look at that sex. that look like
it's
nasty.
A lot of
like
high volume, high smelly sex happening over there.
Got to be some smelly sex.
Ooh, it's got to be smelly. That hotel got to be disgusting. Room $16 a day.
Right next to it.
Room $16 a day.
Oh my gosh, the smelly sex. Is that the name of this episode?
Smelly sex. So.
That's the funniest phrase I've heard all year. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh God, I can't focus. Okay, I don't know where we're going with this, but.
No?
You never had smelly sex?
Not that type of smell.
Just a little pH balance off. Well, I mean, I guess it's all.
Oh gosh.
A little sweaty. You had sweaty sex.
Oh man.
Smelly sex gotta be mad embarrassing, yo. Like, how do you just ignore it?
You never know who's homeless though, because you might have met somebody in the club and they're objective. They homeless.
I met someone that don't have beds.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, little blanket situation.
Let's get back to entrepreneurship, okay?
Okay, so Dave and I get this building. It's vandalized. However, once we got everything out of it, we got this little lock on the door and whatever. We go back a couple of weeks ago, and we're walking through the building. So I had taken my mom to see the building, pray over the building. David and I go back a couple of days later. We're standing in the back of this building, and I looked up and I said, wait a minute. Yo, where'd that ceiling fan come from?
Yo, did you find a video of because
it wasn't there. Deja sent us the video. It was not there. There was a ceiling fan. Okay, so we had this building completely gutted out. Mm-hmm. It's nothing in the building but the four walls that make the building and like a couple of beams in the ceiling that's holding the ceiling up. The guys took every single thing out of the so we're in the back, and there's this ceiling fan that has 2 of the 5 blades that should be there, right? It's 2 of the 5 blades.
And the wood looked new.
And the wood looks new.
They hung the fan.
They attached the ceiling fan to this like 2x4. And then they hung the 2x4 through the beams of the ceiling. But there's no electricity. So surely, no, maybe the team just missed it, right? So we're thinking, we're giving them the benefit of the doubt. The demo guys just missed it. But my daughter and my mom and I had been there the day before. And so Deja, my daughter, is looking through the videos and she's like, yo, that ceiling fan wasn't there. So we continue to walk through the building. We're walking from the back now to the front of the building, and we're standing there and we're talking to a contractor. Somebody was there.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking for the videos right now.
We're talking to someone, and Dave he's completely checked out of the conversation. And I'm like, Dave, what's up? And he's looking down and he's like, yo, this extension cord, this extension cord was not here before. And then we end up seeing this little thing that looks like this makeshift generator. Somehow, these people are getting into this building and they are putting their makeshift generator together. Now, mind you, when we arrived at the building earlier that day, we walked straight around the back. We didn't even go in the inside. And there's this guy sitting back, minding his business behind the back. Remember the guy who was doing the crack or whatever he was doing?
We didn't actually see him.
We didn't see it, but it went from quick, hurry up and put some stuff up. And he got out of there, right? And it was Dewan saying, yo, that's a problem. I said, no, the guy's just back here minding his business. Dave's like, yeah, he's minding his business, all right.
He's doing crack.
He
in the back of the building.
In the back of the building.
At the back door.
With he had a brown paper bag, and I thought he was just back there minding his business, you know. He's sitting at the back door. He saw us come around that corner. He threw whatever back in that bag that he had, you know, and he got out of there. But they're in there and they're partying or resting or doing or smelly sexing in the building. And I can't.
They've got to be getting in through like the roof.
It's the roof. That's the only way they can be getting in, because we checked all the entrances. It's the roof.
Listen, we are in we're in quite a neighborhood, but I'm excited about it though, except for the fact that we have a lot next to, like a parking lot next door to the actual main building, and we cut down all the trees. So there's nowhere you can hide, and you know, obviously all their stuff was all that stuff was taken. But it's not like we just went and we gave them a month of warning, right? Like,
we gave them more than a month.
You gotta go.
Yeah.
And they're back now. There's a car there.
Oh, they're back. I haven't gone over there in at least a week.
They are back.
So the guy, so we have this guy, Mr. Richard, who is one of the tenants of that parking lot. And
a tenant?
He's one of the tenants of the parking lot.
He's a resident of the parking lot.
He's a resident of the parking lot. Yeah. I mean, a tenant, he had his tent and he goes in it. Y'all are mad wild.
Yo, what's up with you this morning, man?
He's a tenant of the park. He's a resident.
He said he had a tent and he went in it.
He lives in a tent, or he at least did live in a tent in the parking lot. And he used to help the previous business owner, like, keep the grounds clean. I still don't know what his supplies were, but he was helping the previous business owner keep the grounds clean. So when I met him, even before we closed on the property, I'm like, Mr. Richard, you know, we're going to have to clear this out. Like, we're going to be running business here. We got to get all of this stuff out, because there's like 10 tents back there just full of junk, right? And so he's like, oh yeah, I'm working with the community now, and, you know, getting things cleaned up. We're going to clean all this stuff up. So we buy the building, and I go back and I'm like, Mr. Richard, you know, we got to clean this stuff up. Okay, go back. Mr. Richard, do you have anything valuable in there? Because we got to get this stuff. So we had been going like weekly, sometimes multiple times a week. And Mr. Richard would always be over there cleaning stuff up. He's like, yeah, I cleared all the residents out over here. The community is going to be gone. So once it's finally emptied out, I go back to take a look, and Mr. Richard comes over. He's there. He emerged from the woods, and he comes back. And now I be giving him money and all kinds of stuff, right? Mr. Richard came back to me and he said, well, you know, y'all took all my valuables. Mr. Richard, now, I've been telling you for over a month.
And you gave him money. You gave him like $100 one time, man.
One time I just gave him a cool $100. Every time after that, I would give him like $25, $40. I was even like walking down the street with him to meet with his friends that could take my cash apps, right? Like, I'm walking into unknown territory. I bought him, like, you know, he wanted trash bags and things like that and all this stuff. But Mr. Richard pulled the okie doke. He flipped the script and tried to make it seem like we evicted him without any notice. And
yeah, it's a challenge.
It's a heart pull.
Because they're in an unfortunate situation, but we still, like, we bought the building so that we can, like, do business.
Yeah,
but they have to leave. You know what I mean?
They have to leave, but not only that, I offered to put them up in a hotel, we offered to put them up in a hotel for like 90 days. And they turned it down. The one guy said he's a man, and I don't know if you were there that day when I said, let me put you in a hotel.
I went there.
And he said, I'm a man. Like, I got to figure this out on my own. And I'm like, but you're not really figuring it out. Let me put you in a hotel. We're moving your things. And he's like, nah, ma'am. That's what he called. Nah, ma'am. Thank you for the offer. And Mr. Richard said that he would love the idea of a hotel, But every time I go back and I said, Mr. Richard, what's going on with the hotel? He doesn't take me up on it. So Ramon, our project manager, talked to the local police in the area. Mm-hmm. And the local policeman told Ramon that we've been trying to house these guys for years at this point, and they never accept the housing. We've been trying to give them resources. We've been trying to hook them up with income opportunities, and they never take it. And it made me realize, like, I can't really feel bad anymore because this is a condition that they've accepted, and they want to be in it. And it brought me back to this moment where I met this man when I was riding the train to work like 10 years ago or so, more than that. And he slept on the train, and I asked him, like, he would always be very, very nice to me. He would offer me some of his breakfast. No, sir. Thank you, though. And I'm like,
break bread with you.
Yeah, he was trying to break bread, and I was grateful for it. And so one day I was going to give him money. I didn't have cash. And I'm like, well, if you get off the train with me here, we can walk right across the street to the bank. And so we do. We walk to the bank, and he had money in his bank account. He had a bank account. He had a bank account. He had money in his bank account. And I said, well, if you have money in your bank account, like, why are you homeless? And he said, I don't subscribe to the government's way of making us pay bills. He chose it.
Man, this is it's quite a conversation, because there are people that maybe they're not homeless, but they are stuck in where they're stuck.
Yeah.
And this is like normal. This is comfortable. I'd rather sleep outside and in my tent in the elements than offer or to accept help due to pride, or, I just wouldn't be as comfortable being comfortable.
Yeah. Well, and there's probably some, like, so now if you take the assistance, there's some responsibility. There's a deliverable now required of you. Either you got to clean yourself up, you got to go get a job, you got to work. This is temporary. Maybe it's too something about like getting your hopes up high just to know that this is a 90-day situation. Yeah. Because my mindset was, let's house them for 90 days. These weren't like, they didn't seem mentally challenged, right? Like, and I mean mentally challenged in a way where many homeless people seem like they're strung out, sometimes on drugs, and you can't really have a coherent conversation. These guys were sharp. Like, Mr. Richard was in the Army. And I'm like, you got resources, Mr. Richard. There's things that are available. I think that they enjoyed the freedom. Like, on one hand, they don't enjoy being homeless, but on the other hand, they don't want to do what it takes to not be homeless.
Yeah. Do you think they like or enjoy being homeless?
I can't imagine that anybody would enjoy it. I think they've accepted it.
But you can't imagine having to sleep outside and someone saying, hey, I'll put you up for 90 days. You can be in the cold or the warmth, and you can sleep in a bed. You can't imagine somebody turning that down. Take a shower. Mm-hmm. Probably can't imagine somebody turning it down, but do you think some people would prefer homelessness?
So in that, I can't imagine that. In that situation, here's my thought. Homeless people are treated so terribly. Like, they're surprised that we actually hold conversations with them. We have conversations with them, and usually when we're at the building, we got our cameras with us because we're doing something at the building, and we kind of just run into them. So they end up on camera, and we've never ever posted that, right? But Mr. Richard is excited that we just talk to him like a human being. And I think part of the hotel thing could also be that they are shunned away from these places so much. No, get away from here. Get out of here. Go. Maybe they just don't feel human in those environments. Maybe they understand that they're going to go in, they're filthy, and they're going to go in, they're going to be looked at, they're going to be judged. Whereas if we see them homeless on the street, we expect to see them that way.
Let me ask you this. Is there any world where you think people in an abusive relationship like the abuse?
I don't think it's the abuse that they like. I think it is the misconception of the love that they believe they're receiving, and the attention.
So they like the abuse because it gives them a sense of love.
I don't think they like the physical punch to the face. I think they like feeling like somebody cares enough about them that they got so angry. You care so much about me that I made you, that whatever I did made you so angry. Like, I think they live in that state for a period of time.
Which means if that state isn't accomplished, if there isn't any physical friction, they're going to cause something, they're going to do something intentionally to create that environment, which
100%.
means that's what they're searching for.
That's what they're searching for.
So I was actually watching a video, I don't know if it was like a clip on TikTok or something like that, where the lady said the first time that her guy hit her, they was going through something, he hit her, and she said it turned her on so much that she actually started to enjoy it, look forward to it.
Yeah.
Almost like liquor. The first time you had liquor, you did not say, wow, this is delicious.
Never.
You was like, ugh. But eventually, the longer you drink, you start saying, oh, now that's a good drink. Even though your taste buds initially say, whoa, I don't like this. No one said this is delicious, right? Because it's such a strange flavor, right? But I think if you do something long enough, you begin to, in a maybe unexplainable way, start to enjoy the abuse.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to go without it.
You don't want to go without
That means something. Like, either it means for a homeless person, if you're not homeless anymore, you don't have the excuse for not doing well anymore. And I want to hold on to my excuse. Or if I'm not in an abusive relationship, then that means the person doesn't care for me. Because all of my life, if someone gets angry, that means they care.
Yeah. Because think about it, like, that's classic abuser behavior, manipulation. An abuser will say, I just love you so much. Like, you made me so mad. You made me do it. You made me do it. I love you so much. Like, you hear it from your parents. If your parents were abusive, like, I did this to you because I love you.
Did you see the Ike Turner interview?
I have not yet seen the Ike Turner interview.
It was a clip. It was a clip that was going around Instagram. The interviewer asked Ike, he said, Ike, you hit Tina Turner. You're abusive to Tina. And she was like, where did it start, or something like that. And Ike was like, no, because she was just, for a couple of days, she was walking around sad, like something happened.
I saw that.
And then he was like, just one day, I'm like, just Tina. And I hit her.
Yeah.
Hey, snap out of it.
Yeah.
So he was actually doing that to help her, to aid her in her depression.
In his mind.
Correct.
That's what he was doing.
The brain is something odd.
The brain is something odd. Well, and I think, I can't explain, because abuse is relevant across all races, right?
For sure.
But we have also inherited the DNA of people who were abused on purpose, like, just as a race. You were born into abuse. And Black people at that time were abused, and because of lack of performance, because of lack of behavior, or, something like that. So it was like, I'm going to beat you into performing. I'm going to beat you into doing what I want you to do. I'm going to beat you into behaving the way I want you to behave. And so then you have to imagine, like, it's like the two brothers with the abusive father. One of them became abusive. One of them said, because of my father, I became abusive. The other one said, because of my father, I did not become abusive. So there's still, like, a lot of those people who directly were abused by slave masters, who felt like when they were freed and they had children, I'm going to beat my kids into submission. And then there were others that said, I'm not going to beat them because I was beat into submission. But that lineage of people who believed in beating into submission, and that this is what discipline is, that DNA has continued to multiply. I think it's starting to become more and more diluted, but that DNA continued to multiply. And there's something, it's really crazy how your experiences can transmutate into your offspring.
For sure. Yeah. You know those people who, and I never understood this. And again, I think we all just, like, think differently. I never identified with being, like, extremely poop-faced drunk and then waking up with a hangover, and they say, oh, it's the greatest night of my life. And people go for that. Yo, people say, yo, I don't want to be able to wake up tomorrow. In terms of like, yo, I want to drink so much, I want to get so messed up. And I just remember waking up with a hangover like this. I don't want this anymore.
Never.
And that's why I think it's maybe just my blood or whatever. I could take 2 drinks and the next morning I'm just gonna feel horrible. So I stopped drinking because the way my body reacts to liquor, I didn't want that anymore. So I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna drink anymore. But some people identify pain with pleasure, and I think it's holding a lot of people back in business or entrepreneurship, because if you make too much money, you lose the excuse of nobody's helping me. So I'll push away help because I like to say I did it on my own.
Yeah.
The independent woman thing, I think it was a very toxic movement. I get what we're saying. Yo, a woman doesn't need a man, which I think that movement was empowering, saying, like, because there was a time where the woman was expected to rely on a man. And then eventually we have these visuals of I can do it my own, which is empowering. But then we got into I can do bad all by myself. And then it's almost like a badge of honor if I struggle and I didn't get help, and then people stop accepting the help. You know what I mean? I'm saying a lot right now in terms of like, I'm trying to formulate like how people start to perceive help, or how they perceive what they deserve, or if the goal is about getting to the goal, or is the goal about how you got to the goal? Like, I want to be successful, period. Whether it's a partnership, whether I have some mentors or not. Some people wanted to become successful, but they have to do it through struggling, or they'll feel like they didn't earn it.
Yeah. So I think it's a bit of both. I think there's also a situation where when you accept help, the people who helped you make you feel it every single day.
True.
Right? And so then you develop like this, I'm not going to ask them, because if I ask them, they're going to hold this over my head. I'm going to owe them for life. It can't just be like, do people really actually sincerely help you anymore? And so there are some people who will choose to do it on their own. There are some people. So for example, I remembered, as long as I can remember, I've always wanted to make $1 million, right? Like, that was my thing. I want to make $1 million, $1 million, $1 million. And because I grew up in Atlanta, and I'm sure this happens everywhere, but I grew up in Atlanta. Of course, I attracted all of the athletes and entertainers, and, you know, I've always attracted a certain type of person, you know, period. I attract all kinds of people. I attract janitors and all that stuff too. But in Atlanta, when we're out and about, you're being not groomed, but you're being catered to by these athletes and entertainers. And so in my friend group, that's what people dated. And I remember seeing women that I was friends with end up moving in with these rich men. And these rich men would give them everything, right? And I had a daughter young, so I could never actually do that. You know, if I hadn't had a daughter, maybe I would have gone down that path. But I had my daughter at 23, so I could never just pick up my life and go move in with a man, and I'm glad that I didn't. But I had friends who did, and they'd help them out, and they're getting them all these designer bags and all these shoes, and they're helping them with these businesses and things, right? Buying them properties, putting their parents up. And then the moment they break up, they take everything back. The help to your parents stop. You've changed their lifestyle. Now this help stops. Now you got to get out of my mansion. Now all this other stuff that I was doing for your kids in private school, like all that stuff ends. And I remember just hearing the stories and seeing these women like basically go from great to Section 8 overnight. And I would say, like, I never want that for myself. And so seeing that, it turned me into a person that was uber focused, hyper focused on, I'm gonna make $1 million and I'm gonna get it like these men get it, and I'm doing it and nobody gonna be able to take it from me. That was like my motivation. But it was never also, I don't need men. It's like, I want a relationship and I want men, but I don't want a man to give it to me because all I've seen is them take it back.
Dang. Well, I think maybe it may be slightly different because in scenario A, I'm letting a man take care of me. And I mean, I guess if that's success to you, it's cool. But some people don't want other people to help them help themselves. You know what I mean? You might say like, yo, there's an opportunity that I can take advantage of that's going to help me progress, like further my business. But because of my pride or because I want that badge of honor of struggling through it, I'm not going to take the opportunity. I'm not saying like, you know, somebody put you up in their house and you take care of them. And we're talking to a special group of people, right? The person that wants to go get it. I'm saying to that person, don't be so proud. First off, struggling is not a badge of honor.
It's not.
It's not a badge of honor.
It's not.
You can accept help and it be okay.
Yeah. So I help a lot of entrepreneurs learn how to tell their story, right? And I have heard it so many times over the years at this point where people are like, I don't really have a story. Like I grew up in, you know, with two parents and a dog and the white picket fence. I grew up, you know, we weren't struggling, we weren't broke. And I'm like, well, because you didn't struggle, you feel like you don't have a story? And I want everybody to understand that, like, your story, success doesn't have to be connected to struggle first, right? And we've got to divorce this mindset. Like, we got to be cheated on for 10 years before we find a successful relationship. We have to be broke and homeless before, you know, everybody got to get it out of the mud before they can make millions. No, some people, your first relationship really did just go well.
Yeah.
Some of y'all really did have parents who were successful. I wish that I had things passed down to me. I wish that there was an inheritance that was waiting on me. That's not my reality, but it doesn't have to be everybody's reality, right? And I think that has a lot to do with it. People have made struggle look so cool, or I think society has responded to people who's recovered from struggle in such a way that's admirable, that people who just kind of really did have the silver spoon, we don't respond to them the same way. It's like, oh, we expected you to do X, Y, and Z. So those people who have the silver spoons are like, you don't know my life. You don't know what I went through. Yeah, we had the money, but I didn't have a father in the house most of the time, or X, Y, and Z. And I want to own some struggle too. So you admire me the same way.
Yeah, for sure. I wonder how many people are listening to this conversation are closely connected or married to the struggle and you don't want to let it go. And I realized that you don't have to struggle to become successful. I thought that you had to struggle to become successful. Now there's going to be ups and downs, wins and losses, valleys, peaks, things of that nature, but the only reason I struggled so much is because I believe I had to struggle.
Got to put these hours in.
Can't
go to sleep.
You actually can just go to sleep.
You can actually go to bed.
Yeah, if my initial mindset was grind. Oh, I'm so sleepy, but I got to keep grinding. Then I got some other information. I realized that I'm spending hours doing nothing. I'm spending hours doing some stuff that isn't going to move the needle.
Busy work.
But super busy. Grinding, hustling.
In these streets.
And then I could put it on Twitter at the time.
Taking meetings.
10 hours straight. Taking meetings. I went from this meeting to that meeting, and none of those meetings helped me in any way. But then I realized, wow, I had some information. A mentor comes across and says, okay, well, analyze your activity. What did you do today that is going to make you some money tomorrow?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I checked on the website and I changed the verbiage and then I met with this person and meet with that, just to say my calendar was packed. But there's no pride in that.
I used to take so much pride in having like a 2-page to-do list. write that to-do list out, and it's just full of stuff. Like, I would make up stuff to do if I only had like 3 or 4 things on my to-do list, because I associated that with success. If I'm not doing a lot, then I can't earn a lot. I can't become a lot. And so I would create all kinds of errands to run and people to call and agencies to call. And I think at that time I remember making calls about like trying to get government contracting. I didn't even have an LLC yet, right? Just dumb stuff that you're doing because for some reason people are equating busy with paid and successful. Productive. Struggle with deserving. And none of those things are true.
Man, I tell one of my mentors, like, yo, I did this. I'm so proud. And in my mind, this mentor is gonna say, yo, you are getting it. He said, and I'm telling you, I'm like for like 3 minutes straight talking about all the stuff that I accomplished today, why I'm so tired. And he said, how much money did you make? And I said, I got to lay the foundation. You know what I mean? I didn't really make he said, well, why didn't you do any? He said, out of all the stuff that you told me, none of it is money making activity. I was impressing myself with being busy. I was impressing. I was so in love with the struggle and the grind, I lost sight of the major objective, which is to become successful. How do I become successful? How do I make some money? How do I quit this job? And that's when I realized it's just a mindset shift. When you start focusing on other things, my focus was, how can I tell a cool story for today of how hard I worked?
Yeah.
And if I just rerouted my mind to how much money did I make? Yeah. How close am I to leaving my job right now? Not the feeling of I'll be out there soon, but like, how close am I really? And it was a major game changer for me. Major. So we're about to do something with the video crew. And I said, well, here's a concept. And I want to really, and they stand to make some money, right? Pretty good money. And the only time it's talked about is when I bring it up. Am I right? To me, am I right? So you can defend yourself. You got a mic? Listen, we can hot seat this thing right now.
Come on over on the sofa.
Yeah. But like,
hey, get behind the computer. Let Reese come on over here.
Yo, it's like I want to create a layup for people on my team. Like Donni been telling me for a while. She be like, yo, you always try to like just pay the people to do it. Like, you know, splitting revenue.
Because it never works. And you know it never works. Like, you be trying, and I've tried, right? With my team now, with the girls, I go and I'm looking at these spaces. We got to find this office building too.
I've been looking.
Okay.
I haven't found anything.
So I go and I'm looking at these spaces. I'm struggling to find a building that's worth buying right now, but the urgency is there, right? I need this space like ASAP. So I take the girls and we go look at this space and I'm like, okay, this is way more space than I need, but this is the most perfect space that I found. And I'm like, there's 7 offices in this space. I will take 3 of them. The other 4, I said, now let me talk to you guys. I will take 3 of these offices. I know how I'm going to use these spaces. There's a workshop area. I'm going to cash flow that. But these other offices, can you girls put together a plan for me? First of all, would you like to cash flow and make some money off of this? Oh, yeah. Can you put a plan together for me and tell me what your plan is to make this happen? Now, I know what to do. I'm going to help them. I'm going to give them the plan. I just want you to express some interest in it. I came up with this idea. I'm telling you, these 3 rooms that we have here, 100% of the cash flow revenue that comes from it is yours. You don't have to pay the business. It doesn't have to do anything, but it's yours. Everything else is mine. They're excited. Now, for Deja's graduation 2 months ago from college, I wanted to gift her a business. But my daughter has to express just a little bit more interest, right? She finally disclosed to me that she loves supporting me. She loves being in this role. She doesn't necessarily believe that entrepreneurship the way that we do it is for her. But she could manage like an Airbnb and things like that. So for her graduation, I wanted to gift her a business, and I didn't, because I didn't want to give her this responsibility that she felt obligated to. Instead, I had a conversation and said, what kind of business? And both of the girls at that time, I'm talking to them together. They're like, Airbnb, we would love an Airbnb or something we could put on Peer Space for events and blah, 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 blah. Conversation is heated. So I'm telling them, this is how much money you could make. This is the revenue potential. Here are the areas you need to look at. I need y'all to go and find me 3 apartments, 3 houses, 3 buildings, whatever that we can put those ideas into. Bring me back a plan. I'll pay for everything. That conversation happened 2 months ago. I haven't seen 1 building, 1 apartment, 1 space, but they want it. Yeah. But they want it, right?
But do they?
They?
You know, it was cool. And this is what I respect more. So I was saying, okay, these people, they're booking the venue. I was telling Kay, like, yo, you should be the event planner because you're event planning anyway, right? And like, I can see Kay was like, yeah. And Kay was like, I was like, yo, you don't want to do this. She said, nope, I don't want to do that.
I respect it.
Like, nah, I ain't trying to do that. Okay.
Because I get emotionally attached. The moment you tell me you're with the idea, like, I'm all in. Show me the building and I'll show you the money.
Right.
Yeah. But I have been telling you, Dave, like, you have been trying to profit share with your team members for years. But I had already kind of been there and done that from my clothing stores. Like, I'm trying to profit share with you guys in this because I feel like it's an opportunity for you to make more money. I feel like you'll work harder. I feel like I'm teaching you how to be an entrepreneur. Like, I feel like this is
Did they work harder?
They did not work harder. It did not generate more revenue. It was not consistent. I'm not profit sharing with any of these people today. Neither are you. And so because I know how much work goes into trying to pull these ideas along, and nobody, if they're not showing the interest, I'm good. Because then I am going to feel a way that I helped you facilitate this idea. You said you wanted it, but you didn't really want it. Now you've wasted my time, my energy, and my money. Like, we done spent all these hours talking about this and you did nothing.
Yeah. Well,
so if Reese and Zell don't express sincere interest, I'm not with you doing it. Like, whatever it is, they have to take the lead on it. They need to draw the plan out for it. They need to tell you all this money that you're talking about. They need to show you how that's going to happen, or I would let it die right where it is. I got a mic.
I want to just talk about y'all, not give you a chance to talk about to defend yourselves. This is a really good conversation.
It's a good one,
man. All over the place. Talked about a lot today.
Smelly sex, tricky success.
Yo, they went in there and built a ceiling fan. And powered that joint. Like, you could see the little electrical wires where, you could just like kind of connect them to something.
Connect the circuits.
Yeah, this joint's wild. But yeah, so move on. Yeah, we didn't give it a chance to talk about Podcast Summit.
Oh, we can do it on Wednesday. Let's let Wednesday's episode be that.
Well, this episode drops today. So.
Yep. This episode drops today. Let's let our next episode.
Yes. Yeah. For sure. Okay.
Podcast Summit.
All right. What you got?
First, I think there's a communication barrier between the team in general. Yep. So when you say stuff, it doesn't click because we're all speaking different languages.
Why are you looking at me but talking to him? I didn't do it.
I'm looking at a little bit.
No, he like.
I'm splitting my.
You over here.
I'm splitting my sight, and I don't got my glasses on, so I got to focus somewhere. But yeah, I think there's a communication barrier between the whole team on that situation, or not that situation, but in general when we have these conversations. Because from when we had this conversation, what I got from it was, okay, this is how we're going to set it up, and we're just going to be recording.
Yeah.
And Kay was going to schedule it, and that was it. And then we're waiting for the next move. Also, I think we're not coming from an entrepreneur background. So when you're speaking about stuff, we don't process it like that. Yeah. We process as in a 9 to 5, we get told we do this every day. Yeah. So this is what we do. Mm-hmm. And when the opportunity comes, it'll be a new project. They'll tell us what to do on that next project, and we do the project at a grade or however you want to say it. Yeah. But it's always, this is what we need done. Let's get this list done.
Yeah. You ever had somebody promise you something, or so a perfect example. So when something happened to where there was supposed to be some extra money on Zell's check one time, right? Zell, it was like something, it was supposed to be on, I think it was like Growing Pains or something like that. And it was like, yo, it's not on my check. Where that money at? Not like that, but essentially, I think like 2 days back to back, it was almost like, yo, did we fix that? Did we cool? I'm like, yeah, I got you, no problem. So, and again, I'm not mad at it, but I do want you all to see opportunity and go after. I'm almost expecting someone to say, yo, you said the 20th we supposed to do this joint. We still doing that? What's up? We still, right? So that is, again, I'm not expecting anything from you. Yeah. But I'm throwing it out there, even us having this conversation, is to say, if there's something to be got, let's go get it.
Yeah.
You all are excellent when it comes to doing something for the company. We supposed to do 5-minute Fridays. Reese gonna be like, yo, you gotta record. Zell like, hey, you need that 5-minute Fridays. Cause y'all gonna do it today and y'all be on me, am I right? Mm-hmm. I want you to take advantage of the opportunity to see it for yourself too. So if I say something, I'm not saying it to get you excited about something and pull the rug from under you. Mm-hmm. It's a real plan, but y'all know I'm doing a million things. So I do want you to think, yo, what's up? Let's do, unless you're like, yo, I'm not feeling this idea. And then I'm like, all right, cool. Like Kay was like, I don't want to do nobody's events. Cool. Last thing I've heard, I said to her about it. I'm like, all right, cool, no problem. We'll find what is your thing. But I do, and I'm such an entrepreneur.
You want everybody to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, or at least think like an entrepreneur.
So I see both sides, right? And as I'm listening, I'm like, man, that makes so much sense what Reese said. He works 9 to 5. He is your employee. And so first of all, we didn't grow up like with an entrepreneur background either. We kind of developed it and created it over time. But Reese is saying, I did kind of. Reese is saying, I am your employee. Now you're confusing me, adding in this. Now you want me to act as an entrepreneur on some parts. So on 9 to 5, you want me to act as your employee, but from 5 to 9, you want me to act as your partner in a project. And that's confusing.
But that's not really the tone. That's not the tone that we have here.
I'm saying that there's certain things that I'm developing. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that I am all the way there to where it just clicks in my head. And I think some of the conversations that we have, it's a process. It's like if I've never played basketball and I shoot at the other goal, you're in your head like, why did he just shoot over there? Yeah. But I'm like,
I never played before.
You just told me to shoot the ball.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm.
So it's still a process. And just the way my mind works, I have to like think through everything. And not only that, I'm thinking through everything about the job, thinking about everything through life. And now I have to set my mind to be like, opportunity.
Yeah.
Now, opportunity, what do I have to do to get the opportunity? Okay, I have to check in with Dave. Okay, I have to put plans in motion for this. That's a whole new processing in my head
for sure.
that I have to develop. And it takes maybe Dave like this conversation or however it goes.
It's still very dangerous. And even though I tell you, Dave, you got to stop doing that. Look at me. I still do the same thing. I'm still trying to do it with the girls. Like, come on, y'all. Like, there's more money to be made here. But as an employer,
it's very, very risky to do that because number one, you have situations like this and you have to think about, well, what if something has to happen with this project that we're working on and something has to happen with my regular job, which one takes precedence? And then you're going to be like, well, you got a job first, before all these things. Just forward thinking. So what I have decided is my C-suite level employees will not be, and by C-suite, I mean like more executive level positions, like my executive assistant versus personal assistant, my operations manager, right? They won't be able to necessarily be people who really desire to be entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. The reason is because there is so much, it's too expensive. Like, as a small business, I can't afford it. I made a post about this the other day and a young lady made a very good comment, and it's a heart pull for me. It's a difficult decision. She said, well, I don't think it's fair that entrepreneurs can't work for you on that level or work for anyone on that level, because there are some struggling entrepreneurs who still need a salary to support their lifestyle while they're trying to build their business. And I fully agree. So when we're talking about certain positions in my company, come on, everybody come in. It doesn't matter. You can be an entrepreneur. But when we're talking executive level positions, like I want to send, Deja is taking an interest in the tech space, right? I had no idea that this would be a space that she wants to go into. Part of her training, I want to send her to this conference in November. The conference ticket is $5,500. Okay. Now imagine.
Side note, there's a podcast event coming up in Denver.
Wait, David. So the conference ticket, the ticket to the conference alone is $5,500. Then there's hotel, there's flights. Then there's me spending all this time training and developing and, got her working with the funnel teams that aren't free either. That's $3,000 a month and all this stuff. So when you're thinking about roles like that, it's too expensive for a small business to say, you can be an entrepreneur and you can just be in here working with me and learning until you get your own thing popped off. Now I got to do that training with somebody new. 3 months later, 6 months later, 9 months later, 12 months later, right? So I think as an entrepreneur who is also employing people, you have to think about what roles in the company can be like a turning door, a revolving door. What roles in the company do I need somebody who really, really loves and enjoys just being the supporting staff?
Yeah, but so my objective isn't to turn anybody into an entrepreneur.
That's what you're going to do.
Not necessarily.
Every single person that you've done this with so far, and I can name names, are entrepreneurs now.
Well, not really.
Yes, really.
Like who?
You want me to name names?
Yeah.
Javon.
Jen was an entrepreneur and I met her.
Yes. And you then attempted to give a profit share for the morning meetup or something.
It was another project. It was actually a project that she came up with that she would like my help with it. So I partnered with her.
Yeah, you partnered with her. The same thing. Yep. And now she's.
Let me give you the perspective I think I'm coming from.
Okay.
So I'm a server at the Cheesecake Factory, and our job is to serve the food. Mm-hmm. But there were some people that they're saying, this is how you make more money. Mm-hmm. You start building your own database of customers. Like you keep in touch with them. Like you got to remember their name, stuff like that. Now the average person, they're just going to serve and then go home. They're not looking at it long term. Mm-hmm. But my objective, not even on the entrepreneurship stuff, I want to start building personal relationships with people. So when they come to the Cheesecake Factory, they ask for David. And if I'm not here, they go home. Mm-hmm. So that's not me saying I want to be an entrepreneur. It's just, I want to take advantage of any opportunity that I have because I know I'd make more money that way.
Sure.
So they're saying, yo, we have this special and you should offer cheesecake at the end of every single meal. Mm-hmm. It's called a cheesecake presentation. You bring the menu and you discuss it. I did it every time because it's an incentive for me to make more money at my job, not be an entrepreneur. When I go sit down at restaurants and I don't even know if they still do it, But I see the servers miss it all the time when I go to the Cheesecake Factory. They just say, all right, that was your food. You want dessert? Mm-hmm. No? All right, cool. And they bring me the check. And I'm like, yo, they're really missing opportunities. And this isn't something that you got to create your own business around. It's just a little bit of the extra mile. So within the confines, so Kay is going to have to, so this is what we're going to do. It's going to be like a half-day training of content creation. I'm going to teach people how to create content. Then they're going to go record it. Mm-hmm. So Kay has to schedule it. Mm-hmm. Kay is going to have to schedule the stuff anyway. Mm-hmm. Well, in the time frame we're here, she's going to have to schedule it. But I'm like, all right, well, in this particular, here's what I'm looking for maybe. But if it doesn't happen, it's no slight. It's not.
The difference though is. The difference, though, in what you're doing and what you did at the Cheesecake Factory is Cheesecake Factory had a framework. This is the job, period. They weren't paying you any more money. It wasn't
really a framework.
You had the cheesecake presentation. But that was the rule.
But I'm saying, like, checking in with your customers, following them on social, talking to them, saying I'm at work.
But here's the thing: the other difference to that is you were doing things so you could make more money and more tips from the customers.
Correct.
You're creating things where you're going to be paying more money as an add-on to the job. Correct. Right? And I'm not saying it's wrong. Like, I've done that. I've been trying to also do that for years, and I still do it. And at some point we have to say, this does not work. It doesn't work. Like, we literally just did it with, we just did it. We just had to we're ending a whole something. It doesn't work. You want to put people in positions to run a successful company where they clearly understand their roles. You are trying to make an entrepreneur, an opportunity seeker out of every person that you come in contact
That's so
with.
Bad. Is that bad?
No, it's not bad. If it were bad, I wouldn't do it.
Right.
But all I'm saying is it never works. And I would love for this to work. Make it work. Please make it work. My team, please make it work. Like, so somebody come in here and please make it work. And we do that because we're such entrepreneurs and we understand, like, man, when I was your age, I used to take these opportunities. You couldn't tell me, like, on my jobs, people used to hate commission jobs. Like, my friends, oh no, I need my guaranteed $15 an hour. I'm like, give me $10 an hour in commission all day. Mm-hmm. You hear me? Because I know how to take advantage of an opportunity. Tell me I can be in charge of growing a group. That group is grown. You hear me? Like, it's grown wherever we are. What tables can I set up? What can I do? What are my limits? Those are and we were those people. Yeah. But you also have to understand that there is a separate group of people who simply need to be told what to do. Mm. And so when you're working with people who need that kind of structure, like Deja told me, my own daughter said, I appreciate being told what to do. I like to know what, not like you do this, you do this. She appreciates understanding what her job is, and I stay in the zone. Now you want me to start creating stuff? I don't really like that.
Gotcha. Kay, I want to hear your thoughts on the conversation. This is really, really good. Anything that's on your heart or on your mind right now, I would love to just hear what you're thinking.
I see both sides of it, because even when you did the event planning thing, I'm like, I don't want to do that. But I wanted to be honest with you, because I didn't want to feel like obligated to take it on because you're my boss, and then I'm not doing it to my fullest potential. 100%. But then I also see the other side of what you're trying to do, because you're literally giving us an opportunity to make more money versus saying, like, this is what you get paid and this is it. And like you said, if you wanted to do this event anyways, I was going to have to do it anyways. Mm-hmm. So I like this conversation, because now I can, like, appreciate it more. Good. So now I'm like, all right, we're going to do this event.
Good. We about to prove Donni wrong, okay?
And I want you to. Like, I want this desire that the both of us have to create these opportunities. Like, I've told everybody who's worked with me, and you've done it too, I'm going to bring you in here. I'm going to create these opportunities for you along the way. And 5 years from now, 10 years from now, we all going to be getting it, right? Because you're going to be getting percentages from this stream and this stream and this stream. For neither of us has that worked yet. I am excited for you to prove me wrong.
Love it. Zell.
All y'all. Kay is like, not just me. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Talk to me, Zell. Your thoughts?
I mean, I think it's a great idea. I think the hardest thing is just knowing that you're still my boss, and I don't want to like make mistakes and let you down. I mean, it's a big project. I mean, it's a way for us to make money. That's cool, but at the end of the day, I know I still gotta do stuff for you and do stuff for Growing Pains. So it's all about knowing that I can, like get the job done. I mean, I feel like we can make a good plan. We still have to have a meeting, but at the same time, I'm still gonna have to do your task and. So I don't want to let you down,
Yeah, for sure.
And one thing that's really important to see in this is in your normal role, right? At some point, you're going to max out on what you can be paid in salary. It's just not going to make sense to pay an executive assistant $1 million a year. Not even close. Right? So we would love for you to see like, oh, there's an opportunity here. Maybe my executive assistant role or my videographer role or my photographer role or, my tech role taps out here. Let me think about if I really want to make more money instead of going to get another job or working 2 or 3 jobs. Let me see if I can create 2 or 3 opportunities within this while still doing a job. And that's the thing that people be missing. Like you'd rather go get a whole other job to supplement your income than to take this opportunity in the company that you're already with and make something. Like you're gonna have to do more work anyway if you're a person has any of you guys ever said, I need to make more money? Yeah.
Yo, you know where the idea came from? Zell, you told people you about to have a situation? Okay, cool. Yeah.
No. But have you told the world? No. No.
Well, Zell was saying, having some life changes. Mm-hmm. And he was like, yo, I'm trying, he said, I'm trying to get another car or something like that. And in my mind, I feel bad. It's like, dang, I want to help you, but I can't just buy everybody a car.
Right.
So my mind starts working. I'm like, yo, how can we make this thing happen using the current skill set, not outside of what we're already doing, but let's add another kind of layer to it. And that was where the idea actually came from. Yeah. And I want somebody, and again, we didn't have this conversation so you wouldn't know. And if you guys didn't do it, I'm not upset. This is like a learning lesson. We're all growing together, okay? And maybe internally I feel good because I create an opportunity. Whether you take it or not, 100% up to you. I love all y'all. But like somebody has to have like that spark that says, yo, I am going to go get it. I want to take advantage of the opportunity.
We about to kill it.
Zell calls Kay and Reed, says, yo, after Dave leaves today, let's come up with a meeting. Let's create the presentation. Let's come up with the plan. And we'll present it to him tomorrow. Say this is the date. We already got the Eventbrite set up. Trey, he already worked on the flyer. This is the time. Let's do it. That's normally stuff that I do. And that's what I would typically do.
That's what I would typically
do. You know what I mean? But yeah.
But I'm also going to say on the flip side of this, just having this conversation, don't be pressured to do it.
Yeah,
because if you don't want to do it, if it's like, oh, it's a time capacity, I'm having life changes, I can't fit this in, I have a life outside of this, don't do it and then not do it well, because what's going to happen is if you take it and say, I own this and I'm going to do it, and you don't do it well, it doesn't just go away. It's going to subconsciously always be like, they can't handle another opportunity. And you won't be thought of, right, for the next opportunity. So y'all should really sit down together and think about, like, do we really have the time capacity? Do we even have the mental capacity? Do we even have the real desire to do this? And it's okay to say, not this, but what about this?
100%. 100%. Yep. Oh, it's a good conversation.
That was good. That was good.
I feel like gotta buy lunch at least.
Gotta buy something. We gotta do something. Yeah, gotta do something. Yo, the truth of the matter is, like, the vision that I have for my company and where it's going, I really want the people who helped me lay the foundation to be my first 7-figure earners. 100%. The people who helped lay that foundation, like I want us to be like the Facebooks and the Googles, and it's like, yo, we got these stock options and we got this, that, and the other. And because I stayed with the vision and believed it so long, because the same thing happens with my team. Like they're like, yo, like the podcast summit, they're like, yo, we got to be here from 6 a.m. until 8 p.m. Yeah. Both days? You mean to tell me we won't get to like leave to go to lunch? Well, no, because
I'm sure Mark Zuckerberg had a little squad, and he was like, "Yo, this is what we have to do before we make." In the Facebook movie, did they have to like move to another part of the country or something like that?
Yeah, they did.
It's like, yo, we locked in,
and I really want that dog mentality. Like I would love. I really want people who are, and I see some entrepreneurs who have team like this. I really want the type of people around me and working with me that's like, we got to get it. Like whatever we got to do, because you understand, like I want you to see it as, if she gets set free, we all get set free. It's not just she's getting set free. It's not just he's getting set free. Like that energy, like what we got to do. Yeah. What do we have to do? Bring me ideas. Bring me some ideas. Bring me that energy, most importantly. But like dragging into work, yo, it sets me off in a way that I cannot explain, please, because I'm a creative. And so I love the energy. I love you. How do I walk in every single day, Kashif? Good morning, you guys. How's everybody doing? Like I'm walking with energy. So, hey, good morning. Please don't do that. Let's have energy. And I have to think about that. That's energy is one of my core values. And I didn't realize it needed to be until I realized that a consistent theme was me getting frustrated with lack of energy, me being frustrated by lack of drive. Like now, if you're a new member of my team, it has to be that you have ideas. You're noticing stuff. You're seeing stuff. Like I want people who see stuff on the internet and be like, you should do this. See stuff on the internet. Like Zell does that. He's really, really good at that. Just give me new energy, new blood, give me new ideas, because right now it's just me and my own ideas. For
sure. And we actually talked about it, that we are rewarding the team for. Y'all did work hard at Podcast Summit. And what did we say? Well, y'all worked hard.
Super hard. Venezuela? Are we going? I told Dave, let's go to. I said, let's go to the UK. Dave wants us to go to Myrtle Beach.
I was actually thinking Hilton Head.
Dave wants us to go to Savannah, which, by the way, are very beautiful places. You know, knock to those areas. We could.
That's Savannah water, ain't right?
That's Savannah water, a little tricky.
Yeah, right.
We can't get into Savannah water.
I think we're pretty cool to work for, like between me and Donni. And y'all that new building should be an indication that we got about 8, 9, 10 months, however long it's going to take, to start owning some stuff, because once that opens, it's going to be more manager. So we were on the call today, and Reese was like, yo, Summit was different. We were short-staffed. And he's like, yo, I was doing more, not just, because normally the camera's on me, just follows me. He's like, yo, I'm more like orchestrating stuff and leading stuff. And he said, yeah, it was just different. And I didn't understand what he meant, so I just asked him, like, different, like, you like that, or different, like you didn't, it wasn't really making you comfortable. I thought he was going the other way, because Reese don't really rock with a whole lot of humans, and they drain his energy, as does any introverted person. But he was like, nah, I was rocking with that.
I didn't see Reese drained one time.
Bro, I think
Reese, I just thought about that. No, Reese was coming to the booth out there. What's up, Donni? What's going on? How's everybody? Reese? I didn't see Reese drained one time.
Yeah, and I said, oh, cool, I got it. Because once we get this other building open, it's not so much do the stuff. It's like make sure the stuff gets done. You know what I mean? It's more, because we got to have more people, more staff.
We're going to have to hire more people.
They need to learn the system, right?
But y'all have the opportunity to be first and kind of claim, how am I going to be involved here? How can I make my role relevant in this space? Because that's going to be like the focus for a long time. Like that's going to be the focus. We have to exhaust all effort energy and everything into how do we make this work. So we're definitely going to be looking for the people who have the house to make this work. We're looking for the ideas. We're looking for the I can help here. I can blah, 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 blah. And also just kind of understanding too that we're not the Cheesecake Factory. We're not Coca-Cola. We're not Google. They have hundreds, if not thousands, and some hundreds of thousands of employees. So if, in their companies, if their assistant quit today, somebody can step up in that role. If their videographer quit today, they got hundreds of applications on deck to have somebody in here by lunchtime. It doesn't really work the same way. So with us and where we are in business. So sometimes we do have to work through lunch. Yeah. Sometimes we have to have a working lunch. Some days there will be absolutely nothing to do. Nothing. I have many of those days where there's really nothing to do. But then on days where there is something to do, it's a whole lot to do, right? And it's not, I know it with David and I, it's never, y'all have a lot of stuff to do and we have nothing to do. We're all in here with a lot of stuff to do, or we're all in here with not very much to do at all. Yep. Just really identifying where you want to fit in and owning that space.
Yeah. Don't quit on them long, hard days, pause. I need y'all to remember them days when you're just in here kicking it, playing 2K. Okay, so all right, it's good, man. Also, and there's a lot of people that are hitting me up about the mastermind.
Yeah.
And you know why, I think? Because we have something so special, and it's very few mastermind groups that two people operate at a very high level come together to give you the experience. And I think the two most important things that you can learn or be good at is one, the whole personal branding, content creation, and then income acceleration. Mm-hmm. And we've come together to create the authority and influence. And it's like people really hit me up like, yo,
they want to be a part.
Down,
yeah, sure. Yeah. I don't even know, I think it's so unique. I don't even know if we need to open it up this way. I think that we need to bring people together the way that we are next month, right? In a couple of weeks. I think we need to wait and we already have people in the mastermind, and I think we need to just serve and put that framework together and then open it up that way before. I don't want people, I saw that maybe we mentioned it in the last episode and people are just commenting where's the link? Where's the link? Where's the link? But I don't think we should allow anybody in right now. Yeah. What do you think?
Maybe a wait list or something.
We can do a wait list.
Yeah. No, I do like that because this isn't like let's just do a money grab and get as many people in as possible. Our major focus is the testimonials. And I think this is what makes us so special as entrepreneurs. And it kind of wraps up this whole conversation is being able to see past the right now. Seeing past the moment. Mm-hmm. We understand that if we can take a few people, get massive results, then it's undeniable. It's not we already have separate results and testimonials, right? Mm-hmm. But most people saying, yo, I'm going to launch this as a money grab. We're going to make some money. And, if it works, it works. Yeah. But we're ensuring people's success. So I'm sure we'll have a link just at least to put people on a wait list.
Yeah, we can have a wait list. This, what's the day? Yeah, we can have a wait list. So just look in the description, because I don't know what that wait list will be, but just look in the description and it'll say to get on the wait list. To your point though, we have massive success stories from people who never paid us $1. All they paid 100%. Us was attention.
Oh, bruh.
Period. I get DMs literally every single day of people who are saying, I did this because of you and Dave. I did this because of you. I did this because of Dave. I did this because of social proof. I did this because of full transparency. It's literally every single day. And I was trying to remember the bold statement that I made at Podcast Summit about the podcasters and what I foresaw happening. And I think Zell sent me the video where I said, I am predicting that 100 new podcasters are created as a result of attending the Podcast Summit, is what I said. I didn't say how much money they would make and all this stuff, but 100 new podcasts. I have 4 people already that since then, like 4 people that directly have my phone number that said, hey, take a look at this episode I started. I just filmed my first episode. What do you think? 4 already. And I don't even know how many people are tagging us in posts from their podcast sets. Like, I've already started. I wish we need a way to track it. We need to send out an email that says, if you start your podcast, let us know. Yeah. Because I said 100 over the next couple of months, 100 new podcast will actually be started. And it's a beautiful thing. Like, David and I, what I love about what we do, it's never a money grab, because if it were a money grab, we'd be making so much more money.
Oh, 100%.
We'd be making so much more money. But what I love about what we're doing is it's not about podcasting. It's not about coaching. It's not about any of that. We're creating leaders. We're developing leaders. Like, we are literally freeing people from this space where they lack confidence in being who they are. Yeah. And you guys are getting to see us on this journey of us just being 2 people owning who we are. Yeah. All of our personality, good and bad, all of our mistakes, all of our wins, all of that. And it's inspiring people to just become. And that's so important when we're thinking about future generations and who are going to be the leaders. And, you know, not even realizing that, like, when you're in it, I never really realized the impact I have until I'm at a podcast summit or some type of an event and people are like in tears talking about the impact. People are asking like my signature has turned into an autograph. Like, that's still crazy to me. It's crazy to me, right? And you just don't realize it. Like, you guys send these messages and you'll see us repost it and you think, oh, it's just like another person reposting what I said. But it really means something to us, like to have created this level of authority and influence amongst ourselves, but to see it like rubbing off, like, and y'all are doing it too. That's the bigger deal. Yeah,
man. Yeah, we thank everybody for the support, the journey. We're really just thankful that you guys are tuning in, you're sharing all that we've done, and we're just getting started. I'm telling you, we promise to you all that we will become better and better at not only being entrepreneurs, but coming back to deliver the information, because this is what you guys are looking for. Yeah. We don't want to stay the status quo. Hopefully these episodes are better now than they were 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And we're continuing to serve you all. I promise you we'll always have some free stuff where you can just connect with us. We'll continue to serve you all in that way. We'll also have some opportunities for you to work with us, but we are actually building businesses outside of you giving us money.
Yeah.
We are building actual businesses so that we have substance to talk about every single week. So,
every single week. And if you guys do me a favor, if any of you have been impacted and you've started something, I appreciate all the impact. We appreciate all of the impact. But if you actually have been impacted to the point where you started something as a result of anything that you've learned from David and I, comment, please. Let me know what you started. I started blah, blah, blah as a result of the Social Proof podcast, or David or Donni or Morning Meetup or Actionable CEO. Let us know that. We need to see that and what's working, because we don't have a way to measure it. Yeah. And I'm sure there are thousands of people who have started something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do us a huge favor, okay? Please, you're watching this on YouTube. We know the numbers. 70% of you are not subscribed to this channel. We're asking you to click that subscribe button. It drastically helps us. And on the audio side, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, hit the follow button. Give us 5 stars if you think we're a 5-star podcast, and leave a quick review. It might take a whole 30 seconds of your day. We'd greatly appreciate it. So continue to rock with us. We will continue to rock with y'all. And we out of
this thing.
Peace. If you like the video that you just watched, click this one. You're going to like this one, maybe even more. Click it right now.